What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I want to do a little comparison between Moonstone and Supergiant because I'm actually really curious to see which one of these characters is actually stronger in world boss content. Now, full transparency, this isn't going to be completely fair because my Moonstone actually has a mighty CTP of energy on her. This thing gives her an extra 4% pierce. Will that make the difference? Well, I'll show you guys a little run or a little damage comparison where I use the beatdown proc and where I don't use it, and then you can actually see what kind of difference there is just having that 4% pierce. So then we can kind of eliminate that variable out of the equation. And as far as their stats, I mean, right now my Moonstone has almost 45,000 energy attack, whereas my Supergiant has 46,000 energy attack. Supergiant isn't built quite as well. She doesn't have any Odin's blessings on her, whereas my Moonstone actually does. She actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Odin's blessings on her, and that's why she just has more. Well, she actually has less energy attack than Supergiant. I mean, 45,000 here, and then Supergiant's got 46,000. But Supergiant has a uniform that is at Mythic, so she's getting a lot of extra stats because of that thing as well. And I think that's why her energy attack is above. So in one way, it's not fair because Supergiant's energy attack is just higher than Moonstone's, right? She also has a uniform. And another way it's not fair, or maybe it equalizes out with each other, Moonstone has a mighty CTP of energy. The rest of their builds are pretty similar. I mean, they got fully awakened isolate sets, but on Supergiant, we do have a regular CTP of Judgment. This is the optimal obelisk to use for this character in World Boss content. Maybe not so much for ABX, but for World Boss, it's definitely better because you get the extra chain hit damage. And this is another reason her energy attack is higher. She just has a 28% all attack increase on the CTP of Judgment. And then, of course, the Mythic uniform. Moonstone, I mean, like I said, her build's pretty similar. Fully Awakened ISO-8 set. You got CTP of Energy. And then, of course, no uniform. So we're going to jump into World Boss. And I'll show you guys a few little differences between these characters against Null. Now, we do need to ignore dodge when we're facing Null. We're going to try stage 29. The team that we're going to use is this one right here. We're going to use Valkyrie on both of the teams, and we're actually going to take out Captain Marvel here, and we're going to put in Proxima, right? Proxima's going to give that a nice ignore dark dodge rate, and also the damage to supervillains from her uniform effect, which is going to work for Moonstone and Supergiant. That's actually pretty cool. And with the 30% ignore dodge from Valkyrie, we actually have 70% ignore dodge in total. Well, actually, I'm sorry, 75% ignore dodge automatically with Proxima and Valkyrie, and then with the CTP of Energy on Moonstone, we actually have max ignore dodge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just one rotation what these characters actually do as far as damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and take out these strikers, so that way there's no anything skewing the damage whatsoever, and I'll just show you just one little rotation, and we'll do this with Supergiant and Moonstone. So this first time that I'm going to use Moonstone, we're going to run up, and actually, unfortunately, her beatdown proc got built up, right? So we'll see how much damage she does. That's with the beatdown proc. So with the beatdown proc, she got almost down to the 50-second bar with the beatdown proc, okay? So we'll try it again. And what we're going to do is we'll do the same thing, but we're not going to use the beatdown proc. Now, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to switch my character out here. Because whenever we run up to Null, we actually build the beatdown proc. So I'm going to switch my character. And we're just going to let ourselves get hit, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay? I don't want that beatdown proc. There we go. No beatdown proc right there. And as you guys can see, there is a difference, right? We got almost down to the 50-second bar when we had the beatdown proc involved. And here, we're only getting down to just like a little bit below the 54th bar. So, I mean, you're looking at almost 2 bars difference having the beatdown proc compared to not having it. So, I just wanted to show you guys that first, because it really, to be a fair comparison, you know, we wouldn't be using the beatdown proc on Moonstone, right? It'd just be a CTP of Energy, because that's an optimal obelisk for Moonstone, versus a CTP of Judgment because that's an optimal obelisk for Supergiant. So we got down to a little bit below the 54th bar. Now let's put in Supergiant and let's see what happens here. Now Supergiant, with her Awakened skill, she gets 70% ignore dodge. So we're going to have max ignore dodge whenever we do this first rotation. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see what we do. Okay, and all right. So as you guys can see, Moonstone and Supergiant with my builds currently right now are pretty much neck and neck as long as the beatdown proc is not involved. You can see that they're almost exactly the same, right? They're almost exactly the same, which is crazy, guys. It's pretty wild that they're so close. But again, Moonstone has an advantage. She has Odin's blessings on her. So really, you could probably say that, I mean, Supergiant is probably maybe stronger than her. It really depends on how you look at things. Do you take in the fact that Supergiant has a uniform, right? Moonstone doesn't. I mean, do you take in the fact that Moonstone has a beatdown proc, right? Even without the beatdown proc, their damage is pretty much the same, just a regular CTP of energy versus a CTP of judgment, right? So we're going to go ahead and continue this. Okay, and we're going to go down to the end of the first phase. And you really want to do 5, 4, 2, 3 with Supergiant. Actually, you know what? We're going to give her some extra ignore dodge because right now she's losing a little bit of ignore dodge in her rotations. So we're going to try that again. All right. And we're going to go ahead and give some strikers. We're just going to have one ignore dodge striker in there. We'll just put one in there. There we go. That way, whenever we're not using our awakened skill, we always have max ignore dodge. And we'll go do one full, like the first phase here, and see what happens. All right. And something else to note is that, you know, when it comes to Moonstone, whenever you use Captain Marvel's leadership, Captain Marvel, actually, whenever you do the co-op skill, will do her 5th skill, and you actually can do some insanity with Moonstone, right? But we're just looking at the different damage, the damage and difference, or difference in damage, I'm getting all tongue twisted, between Supergiant and Moonstone. All right. I will say one thing about Supergiant versus Moonstone that's just much better. It's the fact that Supergiant, you know, has the ignore iframe on the 3rd skill. That is sweet. Oh, we got entangled, man. That's not good. That's not good. We're going to get knocked back. All right, and... All right, we're going to use the same strikers for Moonstone as well, even though we don't need that one ignore dodge striker. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop here because we're pretty much at the end, right? 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so about a minute 15 seconds. We got knocked back a little bit, so we're just going to say it really could have done this a little bit faster than this, right? We could have done this a little bit faster than this. So about a minute and 15 seconds, all right? So let's try Moonstone. We'll put in Moonstone here and see what happens. Now I'm going to be using the beatdown proc and that first rotation, but then I won't use the beatdown after that because I got to run up to her. I got to run up to him to null. All right. Okay, we're going to run around. And see, this is the thing, guys. Like, I got to run around, like, with Moonstone. It's another reason why the beatdown proc is so good on her. Because you do run around a lot with the character. So you build up the beatdown proc. So, right now, like, in this comparison, you're seeing that, you know, with the beatdown proc always being involved, you're going to do a little bit more damage, as we saw earlier, right? We're going to get out of here, and then we're going to come back here. There we go. Try to get back here. Try to not get caught in the cage here. Okay, we got caught in the cage. All right, but we didn't get entangled, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, this is just a little bit better run. There we got knocked back, right? And look, I mean, even with the beatdown proc, guys, even with the beatdown proc, we did this a little bit faster, right? And the runs were pretty similar to each other. But, I mean, they're like, I guess it really depends on how you look at things. They're really, really close. They're really, really close. I mean, really, in all honesty, just from that little test right there, I would say that Supergiant's actually a little bit stronger than Moonstone. I would say that she's a little bit stronger because, you know, we were close to the same amount of time. We got knocked back a little bit. And Supergiant isn't using a reforged CTP. See, that's the thing. And Supergiant and Moonstone is. Moonstone's using a reforged CTP. But Supergiant is a native tier 2. She costs a lot to level up. But Moonstone costs 6,600 crystals, right? So it's one of those things where there, as far as like the cost of the character, like actual cost, Moonstone's more expensive. Actual cost of materials, Supergiant's more expensive. Plus you have a uniform that you have to level up as well, right? But I'm using a reforged CTP on Moonstone, and I'm using a regular CTP of Judgment on Supergiant. So let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this comparison. I do think that Supergiant kind of pulls ahead a little bit just for the fact that we didn't have to use a reforged CTP on her. But let me know how you're all feeling about these two. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.